Om Sri Sai Ram. Respected elders, sisters and brothers of Sai family, I welcome you all to Samarpan, an offering of gratitude from the alumni of Sri Sathya Sai Educational Institution. This is an evening for all of us to come together and relive our cherished memories of the magnificent moments spent with him, recapitulate his words, his work, and his ways, and by it share the joy and bliss. This Samarpan, we are blessed to have Dr. Shiva Shankar Sai, a distinguished alumnus of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, as our speaker. Dr. Shiva Shankar Sai has had the wonderful fortune of living with Bhagawan from his student days. He joined the Brindavan campus of the institute for his PUC studies in the year 1976 and completed his bachelor's degree from the same campus. Following which, he pursued his master's program in physics. He received his doctoral degree from the Divine Hands in the year 1989. Dr. Shiva Shankar Sai has also secured the all-round gold medal from Divine Hands in the year 1980. Currently, he is serving as an associate professor and head of the Department of Physics at Prashanti Nilayam campus. Sir also served as the warden of Senior Boys Hostel for 16 years and has always been a source of inspiration to all the students in the campus. For me personally, watching him on the corridors of the hostel, behaving himself as a student of Bhagawan has been the most cherished learning in my 2 years in Prashanti Nilayam campus. For Sir, Swami is Gurunaam Guru, the teacher of teachers. And for Sir, living with Swami is in itself the greatest education. This evening, he will be sharing his treasure trove of experience with Bhagavan amongst us. Let us immerse ourselves in his love and in his prema. Thank you very much. I now request Sir to please come over and start his conversation. Thank you.
ॐ गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ प्राणापानव्यानो दानसमानामे शुद्ध्यन्तां ज्योतिरहं विरजामि पाप्मा भूयासग्गस्वाहा वाङ्मनश्चक्षुश्रोत्रजिह्वाग्राणरेतो बुद्ध्याकूती सङ्कल्पा मे शुद्ध्यन्तां ज्योतिरहं विरजामि पाप्मा भूयासग्गस्वाहा मनोवाक्कायकर्माणि मे शुद्ध्यन्तां ज्योतिरहं विरजामि पाप्मा भूयासग्गस्वाहा अंतरात्मा मे शुद्ध्यन्तां ज्योतिरहं विरजामि पाप्मा भूयासग्गस्वाहा. Offering my most humble and reverential pranams at Bhagawan's lotus feet. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, a loving Sai Ram to one and all. Few weeks back, when Brother Vijay Sai phoned me and asked me if I could speak in this Samarpan program. Initially, I was not willing because it's the fag end of the year and a lot of academic pressure is there on all of us there. But something deep inside me was telling that I should accept it because this would be yet another opportunity for me to relive all those wonderful moments which we all had a good fortune to spend with our beloved Sai Krishna. That too in the sacred land of Brindavan. So I accepted it, and then I pray to Bhagawan to speak through me, to share the love which he has shared with all of us. I've been a product of Brindavan. I've stayed here for 5 years. I've joined for my PUC here, as was mentioned, and finished my undergraduation in sciences, and then moved to Prashanti Nilayam for my post-graduation and further studies. So I fondly cherish the memories which I had here, because in my formative years, I spent at his lotus feet here in Brindavan. I've learned the rudiments of devotion and the aspects of service here in this sacred Brindavan. So I am thankful to Bhagawan for giving me this opportunity. Before we choose Bhagawan, or rather, before I came to physically be his student, he had already known me physically. Let me explain. I was blessed to born in a family which is highly devoted to Bhagawan. My parents were devotees much before I was born, so I had absolutely no problem in accepting Bhagawan. And promptly, as any of the Sai families would do, my parents put me through Balavikas. Again, I was fortunate to have had wonderful Balavikas gurus who really shaped my early age, my character. They bore with all our mischief, but very patiently taught us what Bhagavan would teach the young children. My Balavikas guru was a very, very devout follower of Bhagavan. I was at Guntur, a district in Andhra Pradesh, near Vijayawada, and this Balavikas teacher of mine was very, very devout, and she would strictly follow Bhagavan's instructions, and she was very active in the organization. She used to make us, all the Balavikas children, learn, apart from stotrams and other things, which generally the Balavikas children do. She used to prepare speeches and make us a big troop so that we could go around and then give speeches in the samitis. We didn't understand much of what we were speaking, but she used to make us do this so that one day we may understand that. One year, she went to Bhagavan and then got permission for putting up a drama at Prashanti Nilayam during Dasara time. She came back, Swami gave permission, and she chose the theme of devotion portrayed through Sati Sakubai drama. So all the Balukas children were excited. She called all of us and then asked our consent and then asked our parents' consent to go to Parthi. And then we were given different roles. I was given the role of being small. I was given the role of the mother-in-law of Sakubai. I just accepted it and the practice went on. We were all ready in 1 month's time. My teacher was very happy because we were doing well. And the day before we were all going to Parthi, she asked me whether I would shave my head. She said, the mother-in-law, a widow, should have a shaven head. So, would you shave your head? Because you are going to do in front of Bhagawan. Let us be as realistic as possible. My father too encouraged me. He said, you will be acting in front of Bhagawan, so shave your head. And of course, I didn't have any problem because I'm going to be in front of Bhagawan. I was very happy. And the day I was leaving Guntur, my head was shaved, clean and neat, shining. So we went there to Parthi, and the D-Day arrived. Bhagawan, it was Dasara time as I mentioned. Swami, after had the Saptaha, the Veda Purusha Saptaha Gnana Yagnam was going on. And in the evenings, Bhagawan used to give discourse as part of that sabha. After the discourse, we were told to be ready. So our teachers made us ready. We were behind the stage of Purnachandra. And after the discourse, Bhagawan came to see the children and bless them. When he saw my teacher, Balvikas Guru, Swami asked her, what is the theme? Swami, theme is devotion, and we are trying to portray through Sati Sakubai drama. The moment he heard what Sati Sakubai, he didn't even ask for Sakubai, but he asked, who is acting as Sakubai's mother-in-law? I was right at the back because all elders were there and then we children, only few could get into the front. The moment Swami asked about the mother-in-law of Sakubai, my teacher dragged me and then put me in front of Bhagawan. Swami, he is the Sakubai's mother-in-law. And Swami started laughing. He saw my shaven head and sari covering the head. He said, oh, veeni chesara, as though he knew me for a very, very long time. He said, you have made him as Sakubai's mother-in-law. I was very happy because I didn't understand what all Swami was saying, but I was directly in front of God and Swami was talking to me. So I said, Swami, Pad Namaskar. He said, Bhaga chayi, do well. So we were very, very happy. And of course, the program went on well. After that, my teacher was asking, my Balvikas Guru was asking my father, he said, how did Swami come to know? Did you sort of tell Bhagawan that he is acting as mother-in-law? He said, no. So, before I could come to him, he knew me. In fact, this is the case for all of us. After many years of association with Bhagawan, this I realize. Those who are choosing him are chosen by him. In fact, this is true for all of us, all the students, all the devotees, and all of us who have been touched by his love. Be assured, brothers and sisters, that Our coming to Bhagavan is by no means an accident. It is His will. He has chosen each of us. It may appear that we have voluntarily come here on our own volition, but it is far from truth. This gets revealed to each of us at different times. After my 10th class, my results were announced in the second or third week of May. But it took almost a month or so for our grade cards to come to our school. And then when grade cards finally came, I found that I got 76% overall. My father was happy. He thought I will not cross 75, and he did not think of joining me in Brindavan College. He felt that should be, at least the minimum thing should be a very high first class. So after I received a grade card, he asked me, would you like to join Bhagawan's college? Even though I was a Balavikas student, I did not know much about the Brindavan College. It was in the year 1976. So I didn't know much about Bhagawan's college, and then I was just silent. He said, you can be with God. You can be with Swami. I said, yes, of course, I would like to be with Swami. If I get a chance to study in Bhagawan's college, I'll be happy. Then my father immediately took the decision of putting me in Bhagawan's college. But that was not enough. When he started inquiring about the admission procedure and so on, and to his dismay, he found that all the issue of the application forms, the date was long back, was over, and there's no chance of my getting into Bhagawan's college that year. However, he said, no, let's go to Swami. Swami was then in Puttaparthi. So he said, let's proceed to Puttaparthi. We'll take Swami's blessings. Once his blessings are there, we can get. So with that faith, we started that very day to Puttaparthi. And then after 26 hours of arduous journey, we reached Puttaparthi, and then by the time we got ready to go for darshan, we found that then darshan grounds, the sand, and there was no Sai Kulwant hall that time. All the devotees were coming out. Darshan was over. It was 4:30 or so, and darshan used to be around 4 o'clock that time, and everybody was coming out. Again, my father felt very sad. He said, now we need to go to Bangalore, but then without having Swami's darshan or without praying to him, how can we go? So he said, no, let's go and sit and then pray to Bhagawan. He told me, if you want a seat, keep praying to Swami. And since all the devotees got up from the sands, so we could go directly and sit in the front line. And he said, pray intensely. I closed my eyes, my father closed his eyes, and then we were praying. I couldn't concentrate. I opened my eyes and I was seeing here and there. And then I would close my eyes whenever my father opened his eyes. And after 15 minutes or so, or maybe half an hour, there was suddenly some commotion. And then we found that Bhagawan had finished the first interview, and all the devotees were coming out of the interview room jubilantly. We were happy because we could get a glimpse of Bhagawan. But then, that was not all. Swami started coming towards the gents' side. And seeing that, all the devotees rushed in, those who were outside the compound, and all of them rushed in. Later on, we actually came to know that Swami was avoiding the gents' side. Often Swami would do that. For some mysterious reason, he would avoid gents' side or ladies' side. Directly, he will come to one side only and then pick up the devotees for the interview. So he was avoiding the previous 3 days, and then After the first interview, nobody expected, and Swami suddenly started coming towards the gent side. We were very happy, and then my father said, "This is your chance." And then he quickly took out my 10th class marks card. He said, "You open this up and then tell Swami that you want a seat in his college." So I was very excited, and Swami was coming. As he came very near, I was first, and then my father was sitting next to me. He was right in the front line. Swami came near me. In my, that confusion there, I did not open that marks card. It was folded 3 times, and it was a big marks card. And then I just stood like that. Swami gave a beautiful smile to me, and then I was lost. And I just kept on holding that one there. And Swami took that marks card, the original marks card of mine, and then passed. Meanwhile, my father was taking Padma Namaskar, so he didn't see that. And then after Swami passed, and then when he was directly in front of my father looked up and said, "Swami, I want a seat for my son in your college in Brindavan." Swami said, "Adi naak telidappa. I don't know that. You go and ask Principal Narendra." He said, "Go and ask Principal Narendra. I have nothing to do with the admission procedure." And that's it. And Swami started moving forward. Father was happy also because Swami at least could talk. And we both were very happy, and then we were blissful for some time. After 2 minutes or so, my father asked me, he said, "Where is the marks card?" Then I said, "Swami took it off." Then my father realized the gravity of the situation. He said, "You better run and go to Swami and ask for your original marks card. I have not even made a photocopy of that marks card. We just directly came here, Puttaparthi, and without that you cannot join Swami's college." And Swami by then was almost finished the devotee side, gent side, and he was started going towards the mandir. He said, "If you miss this opportunity, you will have trouble once Swami goes inside the mandir." So he told me to just run towards Swami. So, simply like an obedient son, I simply ran towards Swami with Sevadals behind me. So everyone, I was running towards Swami, and then 2 Sevadals were chasing me to stop. And then, of course, I reached Swami, and then seeing the commotion, Swami turned towards me. He said, "Amy," I was quite near to him. He said, Amy ra." I said, "Swami, I have given original 10th class marks card to you. I want it back." He said, "Amy?" I said, "Swami, original 10th class marks card. Okay, I have given to you. I want it back, Swami." He said, "Yenduku nakichevra? Why have you given to me?" I said, "Swami, I want seat." He wanted to immediately dispose me off. He said, "Ekkada undi?" And then because it was a very long sheet, he could immediately trace it out. Swami opened it, saw that it was a marks card, not a letter from another devotee, and he gave it back to me with a smile. I was very happy, and then ran back. And of course, Sevadals had to stop because Swami was talking to me directly. So I came back. We were very, very happy because Swami has blessed us. And my father took a decision to directly come to Bangalore and then see what would happen. So night, 12 o'clock from Penukonda, we took train to Bangalore. And then we arrived here in Brindavan in the morning. And by the time we got ready, we could meet so many people, so many of my father's friends who had applied for this, for the courses here. They were all telling that I absolutely have no chance whatsoever because the interviews have been going on. The last date of receiving the application form also was over long back, so you have no chance whatsoever. And Swami's college, discipline is most important. They simply cannot entertain whenever you wish to apply. Again, my father did not lose hope. He kept on asking me to pray. And then we were waiting, not knowing what to do. we were near the office of the college building then. And suddenly, after 20 minutes or so, somebody came out of the room where interviews were going on. The last part of the interviews, set of interviews were going on there. And then suddenly somebody came out. And then people who were known to my father said, he is Mr. Sudarshan, the warden. If at all you have chance, go and ask him. So my father went and asked and repeated everything. Sir, we went to Swami. Swami told us this, please give an application form and so on. He said, no chance. He said, once again he pleaded. He said, sir, he has got 76%. Please, we have come all the way from Guntur. Again, that's where Bhagawan's divine hand, when he chooses, everything has to turn. He just saw me, said, what's your name? I just told my name. Then he smiled at me. He turned towards the office staff there. He said, give him application form. And application form was given to me and then immediately filled. Then he told that today is the very last day and he will have interview around 12 o'clock or so. If selected, he has to join immediately because college is starting. My father said, no problem, even though we were not prepared, but he said, no problem. And then, of course, the interview went on. Other details, we could see very clearly Bhagawan's hand. Even though I did not answer so well in the interview panel, Dr. Narendra, the principal, the then principal, Professor Nanjundaya, Mr. Sudarshan and Dr. Lakshmi Nasmam, who were the then warden and assistant warden of the hostel, they were there. They asked few questions. I mumbled something. And then, maybe seeing my stature, nay, it was Bhagwan's grace, I simply got in. They said, yes, let him join, but he does not have a hostel seat. Because hostel accommodation was limited. Then this building, the hostel building was not there. We were staying, the hostel was a garage, which is there where our present furnace building and also the stores is currently there. That was a small garage and then a shed in front of that, and then we were all staying there. That was a hostel. And this building had just then started because the previous year Swami got constructed here. So he said he will not have a hostel accommodation. You have to ensure that he stays outside. He can be a day scholar if you want. Again, my father pleaded. He said, sir, he's a small boy. He cannot be alone, left alone outside. Kindly consider his case and then please give him a hostel seat also. I prayed again, said, Swami, please. And that's it. Seeing my face again, he said, okay, given. On the spot, hostel seat was given. All the students who hailed from our place became really curious how I could get so easily the application form and the seat and then the hostel seat. Some of them were not given even the admission at all. And those who got the admission in the college also did not get hostel seat. Anyway, I could see that it was clearly Bhagawan's hand which pulled me here. And again, I can say with conviction, after many years of association with him, every student, every devotee has his own story to tell, his own ways of, how he gets attracted to Bhagavan, and finally he pulls him onto his orbit. We are very grateful to Bhagavan for doing that. If we even think of him, he comes rushing and then he helps us. After I joined in Brindavan, as I said, we were staying in a small hostel. I remember those beautiful days when we used to have so many trees here, and then we didn't have this Sai Ramesh hall, as you must have heard a number of times. The Sai Ram shed, which was there, and Bhagawan used to come, and then beautiful darshans we used to have. And one very pertinent thing I would like to recall. Swami used to come for darshan, and then invariably he would come to the hostel. He would go round the Sai Ram shed by around 8:45 or so, and then he would come to the hostel. And that hostel building had a small shed in front of that. That was a multi-purpose hall because it used to serve as a photo stall, and all sorts of things were sold there because we didn't have a good stores which we have right now. And then after darshan, people used to buy Swami's photographs and all other things there. And then that used to be our dining hall, and that used to be a place where Swami used to come and then meet the students, and so on. And then one very specific day, I was very happy because I got right, because we all used to go and then reserve our places and then rush towards that thing because Swami would come anytime. I was right in the place where the photographs were kept. And then he came inside. Swami, he saw photographs being exhibited. In fact, he saw one lingam, the Shivalingam photograph, and then Swami catching that lingam. He said, "Emi adi?" I said, "Swami, Shivalingam." He said, "Swami, good pettada." Did Swami give egg? I didn't understand. And Swami said, "You know why I am spending time with you people?" I said, "Swami, we are your children." He said, "To sow the seeds of love in your hearts, I have come. I am spending time with you all, which you will realize the value much, much later." He said, "I'm spending more time today because the train which used to come at 8:30 is delayed." There used to be a train. I don't know if it is still coming, if it has the same timing. That is to bring the devotees from Bangalore. And all the devotees would rush and then come here. He said, "The train is delayed today, so that's why you are having extra chance of being with Swami." We were happy. Then he said one sentence again, which is etched in my memory. He said, "They will be disappointed if they miss my darshan. The devotees will be disappointed if they miss my darshan. I give them the joy, and then I will have satisfaction. I will have their darshan." Swami, that is the humility of God. Swami telling that he gives his darshan and gives joy to all of us, but he also derives joy of having our darshan. That is the humility of God, and that is the love of God for all of us. Never ever miss a chance of visiting Bhagawan at any point of time. Whenever you get a chance, do utilize, because it's not only we have his darshan, even he has our darshan. In the old Brindavan days, we had so many small little experiences which we cherish. One of the things which I would like to recall is the brother of mine who was a Sai brother, who was called famously as Brahmarpanam. Because this brother who joined along with me in 1976 was asked, he was very good at Bhagavad Gita, and then and in fact a few years back he met me, he said he's in Bangalore. He said he was very good at Bhagavad Gita, and when Swami opened the new dining hall, even though the hostel building was not ready, Swami opened a small dining hall because that dining hall was too very small for us. And then he wanted all of us to start chanting the Brahmarpanam, the food prayer, which all the devotees and then all the students chant. So he was asked to lead and teach us. The very first day Swami was sitting there, and then he would say Brahmarpanam and we would repeat Brahmarpanam. Like that it went on for a few days, and then we all learnt. So he was sort of nicknamed as Brahmarpanam. And during that time, we used to have, similar to Trayi sessions, which you may have heard from so many people, we used to have those old bungalow darshans. after the bhajans here, Swami would call all the students, and we all used to sit very close to him, each day one class, and all sorts of things. You must have heard from so many speakers. They can't miss these very beautiful moments of Brindavan. So we were all sitting there, and Swami would ask invariably somebody to speak, somebody to say something, and then that would sort of lead onto a discourse of Bhagawan or conversation with Bhagawan and then students or the elders who are there. And the intention was that Bhagawan always used to encourage us to develop this, extracurricular talents. He says, along with your education, you all have to bring out what is latent in you. Develop talents which will be useful to the society. And invariably you would ask students, what would you do? What would you do? What are your talents? And then when it came to me, when Bhagawan was asking, for a few days, the students who joined freshly that year were made to sit right in front of Bhagawan. So Swami would have chance to speak to every one of us on some day or other. So he asked me, what are your talents and what can you do? By then I had sort of seen other boys doing. I said, Swami, I can speak. He said, Yem Cheptav. He used to call me Guntur boy. He said, Yem Cheptav. I said, Swami, Nama Sankirtan, Nagar Sankirtan. Because my teacher taught me that, she made me go over and over that speech. So even in sleep I could say that. So I said, Swami, I would speak. He said, okay. And then he didn't give me a chance that time. Swami would suddenly ask. He would not give you chance or preparation time, because at one point of time when I was warden, he was saying that, he said, I do that because the topmost, whatever is in the topmost in your mind, whatever you have digested, whatever you are following, that will come out and that will make more impact. So he said, I want my boys, my devotees to be ever ready, like ever ready batteries. Anytime I should be able to speak about my philosophy and what they have understood, what they are implementing. So I was asked, suddenly Swami asked me, and then I reeled off my speech. And Swami was very happy. He said, Manchidi. He gave me extra Pad Namaskar and made me sit next to him. I was very happy. And when it came to this brother of mine, the Brahmarpanam brother, he asked him, what will he do? He said, Swami, I cannot speak. He said, what will he do? Okay, something else. I said, Swami, I don't know anything. He said, Dunnapota, the he buffalo. He said, you have to learn and you have the potential. You have to come out with something or other. This boy thought for a day. And next day when Swami asked him, he said, Swami, I can sing. He said, what song you will sing? This boy his parents had a condiment shop. He was from Hassan, nearby district. And then a condiment shop. And then he said, Swami, I can sing an advertisement song. It was very funny. But poor fellow, in all his innocence, he said, Swami, I can sing that song. He said, Ulle idya, nice, good song. He said, Swami, tumba chanagidde. Very nice song, Swami. Swami asked him to get up, and then Swami wanted to have some fun. And he said, okay, get up and sing. And the boy got up very, very fearlessly, because I think, again, that was an advertisement song befitting his parents' profession, and probably it's an advertisement song for their own shop, I don't know. He said, Tindi beku, nanage tindi beku, valle tindi beku, mane tindi beku. I want food, and then describing various types of delicacies of Karnataka, like, Bisibelabat, Jilebi, and so on, so many things. And it is very beautifully composed. Only the first line I could sort of get it. So, and by the time we finished, Swami started laughing. The whole hall was laughing because very innocently, very nicely, and he sweetly sang. And Swami was very happy. He said, Bangaru, yes, that is where again his divinity comes in. He says, what sort of thindi is very nicely you described in various delicacies, but Bangaru, that is not enough. This is only for the tongue and for the mouth. He said, what you take, and then immediately he changed. That conversation Swami led to what very famously Swami calls it as sattvic food. He says, not only through your mouth, but all your five senses, whatever you take, has to be equally good like jalebi, equally good like, bisi bela bath, equally hot and tasty like bisi bela bath. And beautifully Swami collected each of those delicacy items which he mentioned, this brother mentioned in the song. So that was a very beautiful experience for all of us, how the youngsters could learn from Bhagawan that he starts with the mundane things and elevates and connects us to the divine, how we should perceive. That is the type of training which Bhagawan used to give for all the people, all the students who are lucky to have that, and that he has been doing to all of us, to all the devotees and the students alike. And at another incident which I remember fondly, wherein Brother Ravi Kumar, the current warden, was also involved. That particular year when we joined, we had lots of boys who were very, very short. And like a loving mother, Swami was worried about our stunted growth, the so-called stunted growth. And then once that year, Swami had gone to Bombay and then he returned. In fact, Dr. Ravi Kumar can supplement with more details, that he returned back from Bombay and called all of us. He told the warden, he said, bring all the short boys here. And then we were paraded in front of Bhagawan. And then so many of us were there, almost 25 to 30 boys. Small, and I was also fortunate to be one. And he said, boys, I've got a medicine for you. I've got a medicine for you for your growth. If you take this medicine for 2 months and do exercises, you will grow very, very fast. We were really happy because, first of all, Swami is telling that. And Swami made very nicely, as a proud mother would have it. He said he found the solution for our stunted growth, as I said. And then he called warden. He said, see, this medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, he said, give to them every day after Suprabhatam along with a cup of milk. Warden said, of course, Swami. He said, no, take their height first and then every week you should take their heights and then measure their height and then record. We have to see how they progress, how they get elongated. So we were very happy because we were getting attention, and then this means that at least once in a while Swami will talk about that and we will also have a chance to be in front of him. So the next day all our heights were measured in the dining hall and then given this medicine, these 35 or 25 select boys. We had it, and in the evening Bhagawan called us and said, did you have? I said, yes, Swami. And because we were a special group, so we were put in the front. Any opportunity, we would like to be in the front of Bhagawan. So he said, have you grown? I said, Swami, we were all smiling. He said, it's just not enough. If you take medicine, you have to also do exercises, pull-ups. Have you done? I said, yes, Swami. After 2 days again, he called all of us. He said, have you taken today? Yes, Swami. He said, have you done exercises? We said, yes, Swami. And then some boys did not do. They were mumbling. He said, lazy fellow. If you don't do that, there'll be reverse growth. He said, you will become shorter. So, he said, if you take the medicine will have double effect. Take the medicine and do the exercise, you will grow tall. Take the medicine, if you don't do the exercise, you will go shorter. So, you would have fun and then make sure that, that fear is also put into our head. And like that, he used to take every possible opportunity to interact with the students, to inspire them to go into the right direction. And needless to say, 2 months, at least I have recorded about 1.5 inch long, I grew. And that was a very, very fascinating experience which we had in my very first year of joining Brindavan hostel. I'm also grateful to my then Sanskrit teacher, Mr. Chandrasekhar, who taught me the Sanskrit right from literally alphabets, Ramaha, Sabdas, Ramaha, Ramo, Raman, from then onwards, because I had not taken Sanskrit in my school days. So when I joined here, I had no other option because Telugu wasn't there then. And then I had to join Sanskrit. But he was so very kind to teach us right from the beginning. Not only that, he was also a Vedic Pandit. I'm really grateful to him because Swami has inspired him to teach Vedas to all of us. Because he was a Vedic Pandit, Swami instructed him, he said, along with Sanskrit, you teach them Vedas. He would come from city, he was staying in city, so he would come in the train. Swami was here, 8:30 to 9 o'clock darshan, and after that we would rush. Before college prayer would start, we would have one session of Vedam, teaching and learning. And then, because Swami's instruction, and then he had to go back by 3:40, again, 4:40, the train again, return train. He said he wanted to maximize the time which was available for us. So without disturbing the classes, without disturbing the lunch hour and all that, he said after the classes were over, pre-lunch session also, 10 minutes we used to have. And then we would quickly come, have lunch, and then go back again. Post-lunch session, another Vedam session, very short ones, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes. And then after the classes were over at 4 o'clock or so 4 to 4:25, again we would have a session. 4 times a day he was teaching us. We are ever grateful to Bhagawan for giving us such wonderful teachers who took so much of care to pass on their knowledge to all of us. And then my reason of learning Vedam was, because Swami would give a lot of attention to Vedam boys, like music boys. So I said, I didn't have a good voice. I said I should at least learn Vedam so that I can go near Bhagawan. So I was very studious and I was attending every class and trying to learn Vedam. Narhari sir used to have a lot of difficulty. He was my Vedam teacher too. And then, so we have learned sufficient, mantrams so that we could be put in front of Bhagawan for the invocation. And the chances which I got inspired me further to intensely, become a Vedam student. And that was again, Swami fueled that desire of mine. And when we went to Parthi for Dasara holidays, in my second year or so, Swami wanted the boys to chant Vedam during the Dasara Yagnam time. Since we had by then learned few mantrams, we were put. So that inspired us further because we could sit on the stage right next to Bhagawan, watch the Yagnam, and during the discourse also we could see nicely and then experience Bhagawan's presence there on the stage. And seeing our enthusiasm and our eagerness to learn, Bhagawan thought it would be fit for us to learn Rudram. So the Sanskrit sir here was teaching us small mantras because Rudram is very, 11 anuvakas and it's a very tough one to learn. So Swami told Kamavadani Garu, the Brahmashri Ganapati Cherukumalli Kamavadani Garu, who used to be with Bhagawan all the time. He told Kamavadani, why don't you teach boys this Vedam? He said, yes, Swami, I would be very happy. Because he was only waiting for his whole life, he dedicated for Vedic learning and then propagation of this Sanatana Samskriti. So he said, Swami, yes. And Swami asked all of us to learn from him. And because he used to go to Bhagavan both morning and evening, Swami would regularly inquire about how we were learning. So we were very happy that, our progress could be communicated to Bhagavan. And then before we realized, and then, the holidays were getting over. Immediately after the Dasara, we had winter holidays. So that time we were staying there to learn because Swami was giving so many chances. And we were in the middle of Rudram or so, and then we had to go back to Brindavan for our classes. Then we did not know how to do. And then Kamadani Garu was also very happy seeing our interest in learning Vedam. So he told, so you all stay back, we'll finish Rudram because Swami wants you to learn with Rudram. We were of course happy because we were there, but then warden wouldn't allow. Said, no, they will miss. And then there was a lot of discussion, etc. And then I thought it was, our plan, but then Dr. Ravi Kumar mentioned once that it was Bhagawan's plan of our learning Rudram through tape recorder. Bhagawan wanted us to continue the learning, but without disturbing our classes. Then he was telling Kamadani Garu, when we were all near him in the interview room, and then Kamadani Garu was doing Path Seva, and said, Emi Kamadani, etla nechkuntunnaru pillalu, how are they learning? Swami, baga unnaru, baga neruchukuntunnaru Swami, but they have to learn, they are only halfway through. He said, Mari, they have to go off, the warden is saying that they have to go. He said, Swami, then they will learn later. Kamadani, where will you find such students? Nowadays, college-going students thinking of learning Vedam itself is so rare. Why don't you encourage them? I said, Swami, it is Shruti. I mean, one has to learn from the Guru Mukha, right from Guru. He said, see, Kamavadani, they have to, it is called Shruti, you have to only listen. So maybe a tape recorder will be a substitution. And Swami, to our great relief, and he said, you record whatever Kamadani Guru was saying, and then our repetition, usually it is learnt that way. Once the Guru repeats, and then we all repeat twice, and even that gets recorded. And that's how the Vedic tutor was learnt, first Vedic tutor probably, before our Sai Books and Publication Department has released one. So we had learnt, we had come back with Swami's blessings, and this Vedam cassette, we spent a lot of time during our, the birthday to, the Dasara to birthday time, and learned Vedam here. And we were happy because, again, when we go back, Swami would ask. And when we went back for birthday time, and as anticipated, Swami called us, he said, have you learned Rudram completely? He said, yes, Swami, we have learned Rudram completely. He said, I will see, Nen chustanu, I will test you all. And then, the discourses were going on from 18th onwards. And one evening, Anantapur collector came, and then Swami, we were asked to chant the invocation mantrams. We all chanted Rudram part, showing our knowledge of Rudram. And then, after the Rudram, the Anantapur collector was very happy. He said, college boys chanting Rudram so perfectly, very nice. Then after the Swami's discourse, Swami called us all inside. And Swami called even the collector. And then we were all sitting around him in the green room behind the stage. Swami asked, he said, have you all learnt Vedam? He said, yes, Swami. Shudu, my boys have learnt Rudram. Such a difficult mantram, and then so many mantrams they know. He said, the collector, and Swami was explaining the meaning of this thing, and then the importance of Rudram, the importance of Vedam in general. The collector asked Swami, do they know even the meaning of it? we were a little scared because no, Swami would give bounces. Suddenly he'll ask us, okay, tell the meaning. And we were not prepared for that. And he said, Swami, do they know the meaning of the Rudram? Because like a parrot, they are chanting. Though he didn't use the word parrot, but he meant that. He said, Swami came to our rescue. He said, chanting Vedam is in itself very sacred. Of course, they know the meaning, the essence of what a Vedam is and what is the essence of Vedic culture they have imbibed. And then Swami gave a beautiful analogy, and then, it followed a discourse, small mini discourse there. He said, chanting Vedam with all our devotion and purity of intonation is in itself is enough to get God's blessings. Then he gave a beautiful example which I can never forget. He said, when the mother wants to put her kid to sleep, a small kid, she will start singing lullabies. He said, the mother will sing lullabies and then put the child to sleep. Will the child know what raga it is sung? What is the meaning of the song, those words in the song? It need not know. The very sound, the soothing and then comfortable, loving sound of mother's voice itself is enough to put the child to comfort. He says, even though the child does not know the meaning and all the things which are associated with that, it is enough. If it just, as soon as it listens to the mother's voice, it is enough for it to get the comfort and the love of the mother and goes to sleep. Similarly, even the chanting, the mere hearing of the voice of the Lord through the Veda is enough for the votary to get the benefit. Beautifully, Swami described to all of us that you should really chant Vedam and learn Vedam, and that is the very essence of Indian culture. So that was again another beautiful memory which I cherish as a Vedam boy in Bhagawan's college. I will take another. Maybe I should fast forward and then just 2-3 experiences and as a warden, and then I will stop. After my PhD, Swami was kind enough to absorb me, and the circumstances so happened, and then I was made the warden. I had a slight advantage and of course slight disadvantage too, because Swami was still considering me as a boy, and I was very happy for that. And he would give a little bit more concession to us. You ask any of the wardens of any of the 4 hostels, 4 campuses, you will know how difficult it is, and then who runs the hostel. It is Bhagawan and Bhagawan alone who's running and who will run the Bhagawan's hostels. Because it's not easy to control 500 or 400, 300 young men and women who are under one roof with a few dedicated teachers in each of these hostels. Running is not an easy task at all with meager resources. Swami has kept that one as our sadhana. In fact, a number of times he has mentioned that to us. He said, you don't have to do any other sadhana. Whatever I ask you to do, that is enough for you to get salvation. This mantram he has given to devotees. He has given it to the college lecturers, the university lecturers, and also the students. So, as a warden, again, number of lessons Bhagawan taught me. I will try to place few of them. In the very first few months, I had to learn a very strong lesson, respecting the law of the land. That time the hostel fees was around 400 rupees per month. That is 4,000 rupees per year. And we didn't have the dividing system as we are having right now. And we were asked to manage everything within that 400 rupees. We have to have food, we have all the maintenance charges and so on. And that year, the government of Andhra Pradesh raised the salary structure, revised the salary structure for class 4 employees, and we were asked to implement. And I was new to the accounts, and because I was first science background, and also I was trying to get hang of things. And then the internal auditor said, no, you have to manage, and then obviously you have to increase the fees, hostel fees. And Swami used to be extremely touchy about increasing the hostel fees. All wardens will know this more intimately than others. He said, Swami is very touchy. He said, I am giving free education. I can, in fact, at one point of time, he told me also, he said, I can give even free food. That's not a problem. But then, if I give free food, all sorts of lazy fellows will come and then join. People who are interested in our system alone should join, because they can be molded. He said, that's why I put this one. So it should be bare minimum charges which we should collect from parents. This has been the guiding principle for SSSIHL education institutions. They charge what is just barely essential, because Swami does not want education to be sold. Education is given completely free. And then our own existence for 30 years and plus is proof for that. I mean, that apart. So I was asked to say, go to Bhagawan and then pray to him to increase the hostel fees. Every single decision Bhagawan has to approve. So I knew that Bhagawan is touchy about the hostel fees, but then I didn't have any choice. So in mornings, the best time would be after boys go to the college. We had the privilege of going to Bhagawan, because boys were not going for morning darshans. They go to college in the morning, and then only in the evenings we used to go to mandir. But wardens had that privilege. Whenever we had some very important discussions, important issue to be sorted out and seek Swami's guidance, we used to go there. So I went around 8:30, 8:45 and sat there. Swami came out of the interview room after the first interview. Swami said, Amy, Uchavu. Not so very pleasant, I thought. I said, Swami, instead of saying Swami, I wanted his guidance. By mistake, I said, Swami, I have a problem. And Swami got furious. He said, Chudu, the doctors and lawyers will be happy if the people have problems, not this Sai Baba. The doctors and lawyers will be happy if people have problems, because they will have the business. So he said, not this Sai Baba, and then went off. And then I was stuck. I said, I didn't know, as young warden, I didn't know how to put it. So I said, I sat there praying to Swami. I said, Swami, only you have to give me courage to tell this one, because even the secretary of the Central Trust and all of them used to shudder to take any financial matter with Bhagawan. As most of the old devotees may know, that he used to be very touchy, very hard taskmaster he was. So I sat there. After the second, Swami took some VIPs there, and then he was giving them some guidance. After that, he came back. He saw me again. He said, Amy, problem. I said, Swami, the government has raised the salary structure, revised the salary structure, and then we cannot manage. We have to increase. We may have to increase. I didn't say we. I didn't know how to put it. I said, Swami, we may have to increase the hostel fees. He said, "Ee problems anni na daggare teeskoste. If you bring all the problems to me, why have I kept you here? I can do it myself." Bon, sir. And then I said, Swami, I didn't know that I had the powers to take the decision. He said, the law of the land has to be respected. Swami said very emphatically. He said, you have to respect the law of the land. If they ask you to pay the revised structure, salary structure, you better pay. And if it requires, you know what Bhagawan's philosophy is, stick to that, raise it to the minimum. and discuss with Vice Chancellor. And then he left it. He said, I was asked to go and then meet the Vice Chancellor. But the lesson which I learned was that never ever go against the rules. And this is again a principle, a cardinal principle which Bhagawan has given to all our organizations, such as Sai Seva organizations or educational institutions or medical institutions. The law of the land is to be respected. In fact, Swami mentioned that, he said, Idi manam follow kavali, pillaliki telepali. We have to learn and we have to tell the students. I mean, that is the type of vision he has got, and that is the type of responsibility which he has given to all of us. We have to follow it ourselves, and we have to ensure that we pass it on to younger generation. Then another lesson which again I had to learn in a hard way was regarding bhajans. Swami is Gana Lola, and then he gives so much of importance to bhajans and all the, singing, the music program. Is because he is the Gana Swarupa himself. So, all Swami would go out of his way to give recognition to the bhajan boys, bhajan group. It was to be a great privilege to be a bhajan boy, because they were allowed to sit right in front of Bhagawan day in and day out, and whenever there were bhajans, and so they can sing directly in front of Bhagawan, and then Swami would give them, correct them, and so on. And as a warden, we are supposed to ensure that these bhajans go on properly, and then we encourage them. And of course, along, as I said, he said, you have to bring out that inner talent in students, and that is one of the aims of Bhagavan's educational system itself. The Educate program of Bhagavan for all the children of the world, the Sai Seva organization, which is taking up, which is also implemented in Bhagavan's educational institutions, is that Educate, bringing out the perfection which is already inside us. Through the, each one has his own talent. So, Swami used to be very particular about the Shruti, the Bhavam, and the way in which they sing, and so on. So, one of the days, I had to go to Swami again for some other issue to be resolved. I had to seek his guidance. I went and sat in the front in the morning. Nobody was there. And as soon as Swami came out of the interview room, Swami saw me, he said, Buddhi ledu, no brains. As soon as he came and started firing me. Of course, and I was by then used to a few more years. I'd passed as a warden, so I understood something went wrong. But we would have no clue whatsoever of what Swami is trying to say. We have to again pray to him to give us the buddhi to understand, and then immediately become synced with him. So I was saying, Swami, please, I don't know what you're talking, because for any number of things go wrong every day, and especially with 400 boys. So I was wondering what was going on. Swami said, Buddhi ledu, if you teachers don't encourage the boys, how will they learn? Then, because of that prayer, he gave that spurana and that thought. Immediately I realized, the previous day, during the evening bhajans, one boy, there was some mismatch of the Shruti and then the song, and then he started with some other wrong Shruti, and it was a mess. That time itself, the thought occurred to me, he said, I may get it. And then Swami immediately said, Buddhi ledu, it's so much of responsibility on the students. He said, on the bhajan group, there are thousands of devotees who come here to enjoy the bhajans, to sing and experience the God's presence. Yatra madbhakta, yatra gayanti, tatra tishtami narada, all that Swami has mentioned. Wherever his glory is sung, he is tishtami, he recites, he installs himself there. So that is the importance Swami gives. And then boys come without practicing. Boys come without, practicing well to sing in Shruti and so on. So I got left and right firing. He said, you people should ensure that boys sing well, boys practice well. That is your job. It is a great responsibility on the teachers and all the people who are in charge to see that the bhajans are of high standard, so that the devotees experience the real love and the connection with Bhagawan, connection with God. So this is again another beautiful lesson to learn, and this is very, very important for all of us, because Swami is a Ganlola and he would not tolerate anything. It's just not enough if we have only the Shruti and then all the nuances of the music, but it has to be again coupled with Bhavam, because he is Bhava Priya. Bhajan boys will tell you much more, many more experience in this regard. Maybe the last one, which I probably mentioned, it's already 6:15, I will wind up with this experience. Prasadam distribution in Sai Kulwant Hall, as it must be happening even here. So, again, it is to be the privilege of the students and the Sevadals to distribute Prasadam, Swami's Prasadam, to all the devotees. Swami's love, condensed love to all the devotees. So it is a great sadhana and great event. It has to be done very diligently and then very carefully, because we are the medium, or we are the vehicles for distributing Bhagavan's love to all the devotees. So Bhagavan is to give a lot of importance to this. He is to personally direct all the students. In fact, in the olden days, Swami would, in fact, call boys for whoever is supposed to be distributing prasadam. And there used to be mad rush, front there, Swami will pick up only some boys. And then it used to change. Everybody would aspire to be picked up by Bhagavan, to go inside the entire room and get those prasadam bhavanis and then go and distribute. And then when the numbers were growing, and then they said, Swami, in fact, once again took me to task. He said, what are you doing there? He said, you have to ensure that this goes on properly. I said, yes, Swami. And then, since then I was whenever there was a prasadam distribution, I used to get up and then sort of watch and make sure that things go on properly. One beautiful experience which I recall now, this happened a particular day. Before that incident, I would like to also mention, Swami used to correct number of times the students how to serve prasadam. Invariably on Shivaratri Akhanda Bhajan, after the Akhanda Bhajan, and also the World Akhanda Bhajan Day, the prasadam used to be served. It used to be either, the sweet prasadam and then rice prasadam, hot prasadam, the pulihora and chakra pongal. So, and it used to be served in a leaf. And with the revolution of the plastic and steel, many of the students have not seen a leaf, traditional leaf on which, the prasadam is served. So they won't know which is the front side, which is the reverse side. So when they used to give the leaf, they used to give invariably the reverse side. And Swami would see us, and then he would take them to task and take us also to task. All the teachers who were nearby used to get it. And so, again, we used to make efforts to see that that gets propagated. Swami used to say, he said, you should give leaf properly and make sure that you should serve first the pulihora, the thing, and the best should be on the top. The sweet, which is the best part of the prasadam, should be on the top. And he said, and they should not mix. And invariably they used to mix, because when you put the hot prasadam, and then there used to be a dent in the leaf, because people used to catch like that. And then, they would invariably put on top of that. And that used to be again an occasion for Swami to correct the students. And, it used to be a great fun and learning experience for all of us. Now, coming down to this particular day, Bhagawan, we were distributing the prasadam. Swami came and sat in the Sai Kulwant Hall. Bhajans were not started, had not started by then. And then Swami asked prasadam to be distributed. All the boys got up and then they were distributing the prasadam. And then there was enough prasadam, and then it was over. We were standing, I was standing, then few of the teachers who were in charge, we were all standing, and then ensured that everything was over. And they were all returning back. When Swami saw them going back, Swami called one of them, said, come. So the boy immediately ran, came, said, have you distributed prasadam? I said, yes, Swami. He was very happy. Said, no, have you distributed to everybody? He said, yes, Swami, we have distributed to everybody. Said, go. Then, after some time, again, one more boy was coming from farther end of Sai Kulwant Hall, And he was coming. He called him again, said, have you distributed prasadam? Yes, Swami. For all? Yes, Swami. He also went off. Third boy also Swami called, and almost similar questions were asked. So seeing that, I thought probably Swami must have thought that no, everything was not, prasadam was not enough or something. And then I ventured to go. After ensuring that the prasadam distribution was over, I went in the forward and then said, Swami, prasadam distribution is over. I tried to go in the front and immediately called me. I said, what? He said, the distribution of prasadam is over, Swami. He said, ikkada, akkada, and all that he said. He showed different directions. He said, Swami, we have inquired and everything is over. He said, no, go and inquire once again. I said, so anyway, Swami's command, explicit command, I went there and then tried to inquire from the student side. Because many a time students, right in the front, they would leave. Under the candle there used to be shadow. That's why, sometimes they used to leave and then invariably we used to, be pulled up by Bhagawan. So I inquired student side and went to the devotee side and inquired. And then came back and again reported, Swami, everything. Are you sure, Swami asked me. I said, Swami, we have inquired. He said, no, go once again and inquire. I once again went. I was almost, I didn't know what was saying. I thought there must be some meaning. Went again around the student side and went to the devotee side. The very first line, the very first 1.1 from the devotee side. That person, suddenly when I kept on asking loudly, he said, have you all received prasadam? Because everybody was seeing what was happening. Probably few people would have guessed, I thought. Then, have you all received prasadam? Everybody said, yes, yes, yes. And this man, suddenly, the 1.1 devotee, he was a devotee from Iran. He said, I did not receive prasadam. I was almost angry. I said, how come, so many boys that passed by, and he is just right in the front, 1.1. And you should ask prasadam. Boys may have missed, but so many times everybody was going around. I said, why did you not ask? He didn't answer. He said, I didn't get. And then immediately, of course, it was all happening, and Swami was seeing, everybody was seeing. I said, immediately told somebody to get prasadam and then served him. And then once again, we went round. People who wanted to second time also, they took. And then I came back again. Swami, mistake has happened. One devotee did not get. Cheppan kada buddhi ledu. Swami buddhi ledu. It was a blessing. I said, then I went and said, the story did not end there. Then bhajans commenced and then bhajans were over. After bhajans, we were returning. This person, his name is Muhammad, and then he was, by the way, he was a martial arts trainer from Iran. He stayed a few years in Puttaparthi. And then he was waiting for me there, and then he caught me as soon as I came out of Cyclone Hall. He said, sir, I'm thankful to you. I said, for what? Then I said, you should ask prasadam. In fact, in our tradition, it is said that prasadam has to be asked and taken. That is our tradition. You should be asked. In case you don't get it, you should not be ashamed of asking for prasadam, I believe. That's our tradition. So he said, you should ask, and then so many times boys went. He said, no, sir. Then he had the real story coming out of him. And it was for me to get humbled. He said, sir, today happens to be our New Year's Day. I was fasting, and then I was intensely praying. I thought I will break fast only after Swami's darshan. Morning Swami had not come, so evening I had darshan, and then I was so absorbed, absorbed in the Swami's bhavam. I just did not realize the prasadam was being distributed. So, and he was intensely watching Swami, because Swami came and sat in the front much before bhajans started. So he was just watching and enjoying the bliss of Bhagawan's darshan. And then he said, sir, by the time I realized, because when you came and asked whether prasadam is, have you received prasadam loudly, then only I realized that I didn't get prasadam. Then I raised my hand. And I was very worried that I will not get prasadam, because this is such a sacred day for us. And I was fasting. What better way of breaking the fast than taking Swami's prasadam? And then he was intensely praying for Bhagawan. So he was so moved. That single devotee's prayer made Bhagawan, so many students go around, and even the teachers, warden going round to find out that he is not missed. The devotees' prayers are answered. That is the love of our Lord. We have such a wonderful Lord, such a loving Lord. Every single prayer emanating from a pure heart will definitely be answered by him. Have no doubt about it. So I'm grateful to Bhagawan again for giving me this opportunity to live, to get my education at his lotus feet and learn the lessons of life in his divine presence. And then pray to all of you to use the opportunity, as I mentioned at the very beginning, if we are here today because he has put that love in all of us. Swami has told that he has come to sow the seeds of love. Prema bijalu natataniki uchanu nenu. To sow the seeds of love in our hearts, he has come down. So already the seeds are sown in all of us. Make sure we nurture them. And talks like this, Samarpan talks, or things of this nature, the satsang which we have, is a beautiful way of nurturing, fostering these divine thoughts, reliving those divine moments. So internalize Bhagawan and his teachings, and everyone will have his own story. Each story is unique, and that is again greatness of Bhagawan. So with these words, I pray to Bhagawan to shower his choicest blessings on all of us. As Kulashekar Alvar in Mukundamala has mentioned, Mad janmanaha phalamidam madukaita bare, mad prarthaniya madanugraha yesha eva, tava brutya brutya paricharaka brutya brutya brutyasya brutya, smara iti mam lokanada. The Alvar says that, Lord, the greatest gift which you can give to me is to consider me as a servant of a servant of a servant of a servant, seventh generation servant of yours. Because your power is so great. Even if I serve the seventh generation servant of you, I will get the punyam and I will get your sanidhyam. So that is the type of devotion which we have to seek from him, and he is capable of giving it to us. So we'll pray to him and nurture these good thoughts, and then he will take over and he will guide us. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing with us the wonderful memories from your own life with the divine. As you rightly emphasized during your talk, Bhagavan's guidance to all of us as a father, as a mother, and as a teacher to hold on to the principles to lead a life of nobility and of love. Sir, your sharing of his love has definitely made us rich, and we pray him for strength to carry this love all through our lives. Thank you again. I now request Ravi Kumar sir, our warden, and Sri Sanjay Sahani sir, our director, to honor the speaker of the evening with bouquet and shawl respectively. Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to profusely thank Sri Bhutia, custodian of Brindavan, the office bearer of Sri Sathya Sai organization, the director, the warden of Brindavan campus, the audiovisual team, and Mrs. Bhutia and her team for the wonderful service month after month for the Samarpan program. I also thank all of you present here and sharing the nectarine love of Bhagawan's experiences. I now request Dr. Shiva Shankar Sai for Mangalarati. Sai Ram.